Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to be talking about how narcissists get into your subconscious mind and the way that they do that. Now we're going to be answering this question because we got it from the comment section down below. I love when you guys comment your questions. It's really helpful for you and for everybody so we can all learn from it. The way that narcissists get into your subconscious mind is through the use of assumptions. Here's the important thing to know. It's that nobody can think any thought for you. Nobody can make you do anything that you don't want to. At all times, you are always in charge of your own free will. I believe Nelson Mandela, if I'm correct, when he was in prison, he was tortured. Everybody made him have like the worst possible experience that he could have had there. And he said the thing that had kept him strong in there was that he knew he was in control of his mind and nobody could make him think anything that he didn't want to think. And that is the exact same situation that you are in. So when a narcissist is trying to get into your mind and affect how you feel about yourself, what is actually going on is that you are letting your defenses down, and they're doing this in sneaky ways that you might not even recognize are going on. Essentially, think of your mind as a fortress, like it's a castle with a fortress around it, and you've built up a wall around it, and you are who you are, and when people try to affect who you are, you're able to defend yourself from different directions and whatnot. However, the narcissist knows this, and they know that they are not capable of infiltrating you from the outside. So what they do is they find sneaky ways of getting you to break down from the inside. And by getting you to break down from the inside, they can gain control and power over you and make you act in the ways that they want you to act. So the way that they do this is through the use of assumptions, because if they can get you to think something, then you are doing the damage to yourself, because they are incapable of making you think anything about yourself that you do not want to think. And I talked about this in a little bit in one of my videos talking about why positive affirmations don't always work. And what I was saying that in that video is that a lot of times when people use affirmations, the issue that they run into is that they feel like they are trying to convince themselves of something. And if you feel like you're trying to convince yourself of something, you have a subconscious assumption that that positive affirmation that you're telling yourself is not already true. Therefore, the trick to making the positive affirmation work for you is to look at it and to use it with the assumption that it is already true and accept it fully as truth. And that is a mental trick that after you do it a few times, you get the hang of it and you can use it over and over. So essentially what the narcissist is now getting you to do is they're using their interactions with you to get you to think negatively about yourself by making you question yourself through the assumptive ways that they communicate with you. For example, if you talk about how important body language is in setting off communication, they say, I believe words are only like 7% of communication. There's a difference between saying, man, like, I love you so much, I think you're so incredible, and saying, yeah, I love you so much, you're so awesome, aren't you? Those are using the same words, but you're using a totally different context and language to get your meaning across. So when you're in this situation with a narcissist, they will attack you for the things that they know are push buttons for you that you're already sensitive about on the inside. And they will have done this through continuously prodding at you and through spending so much time with you that everybody has certain insecurities. They will find your insecurities and they will know that's kind of your Achilles heel, and they will be able to attack you in certain ways of going about that. For example, one of the ones that I can think of was when I was with my girlfriend at the time, I had this dream to start making YouTube videos. And it was a fresh dream of mine. It was something that I wanted to do and that I felt like I was so passionate about. But I knew that the external world kind of saw it as like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe you're doing that. At the time I was doing TikToks. And of course, like, the adult world sees TikToks as, as immature, you could say, and I knew that going into it, and she knew that as well, and she knew that I knew that. So when I told her about this dream that I had, she told me it was embarrassing. And immediately I could feel that sink in my I can still feel it right now, how I felt when she said that. It just, everything inside of me sunk. And thankfully I knew at that time to stand up for myself and to continue to follow my passion regardless of what anyone thought. But that was an example of how then, from then on, I didn't want to share that information with her. I didn't want to include her in my videos and have her be a part of the process, because from that point on I felt self-conscious having her around me, and I felt judged. And the only way that I felt that was because I was thinking those thoughts, and I was inside of my head thinking of what she was thinking, and I was placing such a high value on what she thought of me that all of a sudden I was in my own head putting myself down. And that is why I had to avoid her in those situations, because I did not want to be in these situations where I was like almost putting myself down and feeling negatively, because I knew that if I wanted to succeed at this thing, I had to go at it with full confidence. I had to believe in myself, and I couldn't let negativity from other people push me down and keep me back from what I actually wanted to be doing in life. Another way is that assumptions can be used against you. Another example that I'm thinking off the top of my head is, for example, let's say you're in an argument with this person, you've come to the point where you're about to end it. I can say this because I'm speaking from personal experience. This is something that happened to me. I was in this point where I wanted to end it, and then this person tells you, I'm so sorry for the things I did. That was a terrible thing for me to do. I should not have done that. That was like not good, and I promise everything will be better. I'm such a bad person, this and that. And the narcissist starts talking about how bad of a person they are, right? Then in this case, if you're more of an empath, then you're caught in this situation like I was, where I was telling her, no, like, I forgive you, like, you're not as bad of a person as you're saying you are, you're exaggerating it, like, you're taking things like too far out of context. In that interaction, the subconscious assumptions that are going on is now all of a sudden I've been wronged and I didn't do anything wrong. And this other person now has me defending the relationship, trying to console them on telling them that everything is okay, when I'm not supposed to be in that situation to begin with. But then all of a sudden, when you've been wronged, instead of you having to stand up for yourself and what you want, now you have to stand up to maintain the relationship and to maintain their happiness in that situation. And the subconscious assumption there is just totally flipped the wrong way. So now you're not even responding to this situation that you've been with an appropriate response. Another thing that I can think of in my relationship is she would always ask me what kind of person I was. And it always threw me off guard when she would ask me these types of questions. Like, for example, one that I can think of off my head was, at one point, me and my ex-girlfriend are still dating, and some other girl, we're at the grocery store, right? And the cashier is there, and I'm talking to the cashier and just being a friendly person and going about my day just like I normally would, just because I'm a friendly, nice, loving person in every area of my life. And then we stepped away from that situation, and she said to me, she's like, oh, I didn't know you were that kind of person that is so friendly towards other people. And then all of a sudden, the tone that she said it in, I can still feel it actually. The tone that she said it in made me feel like all of a sudden I had done something wrong when I hadn't. And then I felt like she didn't say she was upset, but I felt that she was saying she was upset. It was the underneath level rage that you can never really put your finger on, but you can feel it there. And I could tell that she was saying that because she was bothered. So then I noticed that then if I would go to the grocery store, then I wasn't as friendly of a person anymore, because she had subconsciously affected the way that now I thought was okay to interact with people without ever telling me I'm not allowed to talk to the cashier at the grocery store, right? And the more the time that you spend in these situations where you're being affected and subconsciously controlled in a way, then it will start to bleed out into the other areas of your life. And they can also do this with gaslighting. And the assumption with gaslighting is that you are crazy, but they're not. And not, I'm not necessarily saying they're crazy. I'm saying they're strategic. Some of them, yeah, are crazy, but some of them are really strategic, and they know what they're doing to try to get inside of your head. That's the whole purpose of gaslighting. The whole purpose of gaslighting is to get you to not trust yourself, because then if you don't trust yourself, then you will look for to them for external validation. And as long as you look to them for external validation, then they are winning. So really, the game of the narcissist is to break you down from the inside, but they can't do it themselves. In fact, you're the one that has allowed yourself to break yourself from the inside on total accident because you didn't know that this is what is going on. So really, the only cure for this situation that will help heal you from the breaking down that you've done of yourself is going to learn is you going to learn, first of all, how to defend yourself from subconscious assumptions. You must recognize when somebody else, anybody in your life, is trying to use an assumption that is a hidden covert language to try to control you and manipulate you. Now I've gotten really good at it because I started noticing it and I started defending myself from it. Now I can tell you as soon as that sentence comes, whether it's in person or it's in text or something from anybody, if there's a hidden sub-language to what is being said, I pick up on it immediately. And you must develop that radar on your own, because your mind is your fortress and nobody can break you down from the inside besides yourself. So you must stop yourself and recognize when those attacks are coming through. The next thing you must do is you must learn to trust yourself again. You must rebuild that self-love and self-trust that you yourself have accidentally broken down because of the way that you were controlled and manipulated, and you did not have the knowledge at that time to be able to defend yourself. So yeah, you must definitely forgive yourself for that. But moving forward, it's also time to rebuild that trust. And ways to rebuild that trust is really just to start trusting yourself again, one thing at a time. And as soon as you must get rid of all the other toxic people in your life that are affecting your self-trust. But as you start to trust yourself again, little by little, you are going to start to build yourself up again. And those walls that were previously broken down on the inside, you can now defend yourself from. And you will be able to have, in fact, greater control over your own mind and your own life and your emotions, because now that you've been through this terrible struggle that they put you through, you are now capable of defending yourself. And any future situation you're going to be in, you're going to be much stronger and happier and have a lot of control over your mind, which is just absolutely incredible. And it's going to help you out a lot with your own happiness and mindset, and it's only going to be a positive outcome. So as terrible as it was, it's always good to look at the silver lining of things. What positive benefit came out of the destruction that happened. So now you're going to be much stronger knowing this, and it's time to rebuild your self-trust and your self-love, and forget about the ways that they manipulated you into tricking yourself to fall, because those things aren't true. And now that you have the strength, you can move forward with confidence and power and control in your life. So that does it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Oh, also, the Patreon is now live. So I'm sending out the free wristbands to everybody that signs up for the Patreon. There's also the first month special for everybody that joins in the first month. Well, after the first month is done, I'm going to take that down, and that's just going to be a special bonus for everybody in here. So make sure you join the Patreon, and thank you guys so much for being a part of it. I'm so excited to have you all here. Hey, I do want to say as one last little tip, one of the things that you can do that I did was to have a journal, and I kept a journal for myself of all the things that were happening and all the good things that I was doing for myself and building and accomplishing, and all the positive traits and qualities of myself that maybe I had let go, and that the traits that I was trying to build up again and trying to come back to that fully normal self that I was fully happy before I had allowed myself to sink down to somebody that I wasn't.